Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. Today we're feeding our sweet tooth with a simple recipe. It is called pampas berry custard puffs. Here's what we need. Now it's called pampas berry custard puffs because the recipe was written by the brand Pampas, and unfortunately I have not got any of their stuff. I've gone with alternatives. But come on in and I'll show you these ingredients. So first of all, we're going to need our oven on 200 or 220 if it's not fan forced. So I've put mine on 200 because I treat mine like fan forced. You are also going to need a baking tray, which I've just put paper on mine. You can either grease it really well or put paper on it, whatever you prefer. You'll also need a saucepan and a stirring stick. And then the ingredients are as follows. 1 sheet of puff pastry thawed. That's almost ready to go. I mean, it's still winter right now, so you need to get it out for a little while. 1 egg, which we're going to lightly beat. 2 to 3 teaspoons of jam. Go for a berry flavoured one. I've got strawberry jam. 450 grams of 4 berry mix. This is the one that I got from Coles. This was from the 500 gram bag. And warm custard to serve. So I've just brought the one from Aldi. We're just going to warm that up. You can make your own custard or just use that one, whatever's easier. So this is a very straightforward recipe. It's just taken a long time to get to because of work and study. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it because it's something sweet. So first up, we are going to cut our sheet of pastry into 8. So you can do it probably by folding, but with me, I'm not going to fold this one because it's still a little bit frozen. So I'm going to cut it down the middle, and then I'm going to cut it down the middle again. There, so we've got 4 squares. And then we want to just cut it again and again. So we've got basically like a little matchstick. Okay, that's our first step. Okay, set the knife aside. These are going to go in the oven. So we want to put these onto our tray. So just layer them on the tray. Let me show you how we do this. It's fairly straightforward. And then we're going to just brush them with the beaten egg. Now this pastry is falling apart because unfortunately pastry doesn't really last that long in my freezer. And I think it's gone through one of my defrosting processes. I still have a very, 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 very old freezer, which I have to defrost normally about every 6 months because it freezes up. And as I always used to say, polar bears are going to move in. So when I do that, unfortunately, anything in there has to be taken out. I'm going to have to use 2 trays, so I'm going to grab a small tray as well. This one I think I'll just spray. I probably would have just been better off using the 2 trays actually, because I don't have a very large tray. I'm just going to do one with the spray and one with the paper, and I can bet you the one with the spray will probably be easier to remove. You can see for yourself when we get them out of the oven. So this one's a bit crackly, but it doesn't matter because it'll cook and it'll be fine. All right, so let's get that egg. Set that aside for the moment. So when you put your egg in, I always use a cup anyway, so I'm going to crack it into the cup. We need a fork just so we can give it a whip. I've got to get one out of the drawer. I'm not very organised. I do have work today, so I want to try and have this sort of as my morning tea if I can before I go. So that, we're just going to brush them. So just brush it over, and then we're going to bake these for 10 minutes. So they're basically just going to puff up or cook through. Now with me doing the 2 sheets, I might have to do one and then the other one. We'll see what it looks like when we get to that stage. Because while these are baking, we're going to be working on our berry mix. That one's actually cracking. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's still going to be fine. Alright, so they're going in the oven. Pop your timer on for 10 minutes. Okay, so while that's going on, our next step is going to be to melt the jam in a saucepan over low heat. So that is 2 to 3 teaspoons of jam. Normally when I'm given an option like that, I'll go for the 3 teaspoons over the 2. So you don't have to use strawberry jam. It's just what I had on hand. So you can use raspberry, strawberry. I think there is a berry jam. Sometimes I've had mixed berry. Sometimes I've had blueberry. Because I try a couple of days a week, I try and have jam on toast so that I don't have to have a huge lunch. All right, so we're going to put this on the stovetop. So we will need a stirring stick. So basically, we want it on there until it doesn't look like that. It'll sort of start to melt. So when it's sort of starting to warm, bring over the berries. We're going to pop the berries in next. So all the berries in. I've got this on a high heat, and the berries are obviously still frozen. And we want these to sort of pulp up a little bit, sort of into a jam style thing. And we do want the pastry cooked right through because we are actually making a sandwich. Doesn't make 8, it makes 4, even though we had 8 pieces. Because it serves 4, which I probably forgot to tell you. That's my bad. Alright, so I'm going to keep this up fairly high just for a little while because everything's so frozen. But we do want it to go into a bit of a pulpy mix because otherwise it's not really going to sit too well on top of the pastry. So this is a good winter dessert. Anything where you can have it warm with some hot custard in the winter is really good. Yum. I sure do miss having custard. My mama used to make the custard all the time when I made desserts. Now, unfortunately, I'm buying it in a packet from the fridge, and it's just not the same. It's not thick. Yeah, it tastes like vanilla, but big deal. It's just not thick. I could make some. I do know how to make it, but she always used to make it perfectly. And then sometimes she'd make it pink custard, which was really funny. Just put a bit of pink food colouring in it. So we'd have pink custard, which was really cool. Alright, we're coming up to nearly the 10 minutes, but I have a feeling that the pastry may need a little bit longer. But we'll see what it looks like when the buzzer goes off. So the buzzer's gone. So what I'm going to do, let's have a little sticky beak at said pastries. I've just put the kettle on because I'm going to have one with a coffee before I go to work. Alright, so these look fine. They're a bit on the other side, but we can't really flip them over. So what I'm going to do, I was right about the ones on the bottom. These want just a little bit longer, so I'm going to give those about 2 minutes. And because the pastry looks a little bit cracked on some of them, I would use those ones on the top, use the stronger ones on the bottom. Anyway, let's put the timer back on for another 2, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. It's a nice pulpy, delicious smelling berry dessert. So let's get ready to assemble, all bar the 2 that are in there, but we'll use those for lids. Let's roll. So to assemble, we're actually putting them on a serving plate. So I'm going to do 3 on here, and the one that I'm having today will go on there. So choose your stronger ones for the base. They do look a little bit underdone on the other side, but they should be okay though. 1, 2, 3. Actually, no, I think I'm going to flip them and give them a little bit on the other side. I have changed my mind. I had a flashback one day. They look good on one side, but they don't look good on the other side. I'm going to just pop those in for 2 minutes actually. So we'll be back. There you go. The ones that were on their own, they actually did cook through with the spray on them. So that's the trick. If you put the paper on, they're not going to cook on the underside. So this one's done enough. This is the cracky one, which should go on the top, but I don't care. I'll use that as a base. Couple of minutes with those flipped over. So the recipe was actually right. Don't use the paper, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have to flip them, and you may end up with pastry that's not as good. It'll be fine, but you know what I mean. Couple more minutes, but let's get the berry mix, and we can start and assemble these ones. So we want a spoon. Let's get I think I'll just use the soup spoon. Sometimes I like to use a soup spoon rather than a great big spoon. So we just want to basically put the berry pulp on the top. There is way too much of this in here. Sometimes recipes tell you to use too much of something. Like you can clearly see that you're going to end up with a lot left over. So therefore I am going to use more on it. Let's get the rest out. They should be done. The buzzer just didn't go off. No, going to give them another couple of minutes. It's definitely the paper. So don't use the paper. So I will be back when I have a beautiful pastry lid. I'm going to leave it at that. So they are brown enough. So what we need to do is I'm going to put another 3 on that plate. Like so. But the ones that we've already started to sandwich, we basically just put one on top. Put that on a serving plate, and you put the custard on the top, and you serve it up. So thank you for watching this episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. This has been Pampas Berry Custard Puffs. Enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next adventure. Bye!